Alright, so this video should be relatively short and sweet, just to show you how to create images to use on the Inspired Office blog. So there's a few different places that we might find images. If there's images for a particular week that should be used, they will be put inside the Evernote doc. So like right here, this image here is the one that we want to use for the blog post that we'll be using these images for. So you would save this image, so save it somewhere on your computer where you'd be able to access it and be able to upload it to Canva. Another thing that we might do is, for example, this post right here, all of the individual sections are going to end up being blog posts on the Inspired Office blog, so we want to make sure we have an image to go along with them. This one didn't have one in the newsletter, so I went online and I found an image. We have to be careful to make sure that we're using images that are okay to use, so no copyright infringements and things like that. So there's several different websites that are really good for that. Pixabay is one, definitely not my favorite, but it's like a last resort. Pexels, Pexels.com is a good one. Bossfight.co, so BOSSFIGHT.co, or unsplash.com, just kind of how it sounds. Any images that you find on those sites are going to be okay to use. So for this image here, I think it just went to Pexels, and I wanted to find an image of money. So I just typed in money and found one that I liked, and I grabbed this image here. So you can use any of these images. Again, they are free to use. The license is a Creative Commons 0 license, which means you can use the image for whatever you need to. So then for this image, I had to grab it, and then you click on free download, and what you actually do is you right click and then save your image as in a location where you'll be able to easily find it. And then what we do once we have found our images is we head on over into Canva, into Kacy's account. So this is what it looks like whenever you log in. Now, these things in here may rearrange themselves, and that's totally okay, just kind of as different projects are worked on. And as you can see, we've got multiple versions of blog post images because we've done lots of different things. So the one that we want to actually use is called blog post title template. And what you can do is make a copy of this template if you're starting brand new, if there aren't already images in there. And the reason for that is we don't want to modify this template. So always do a copy of that template. And what I really like about this is this really cool feature. You can see there's like this little cloud image behind here. That is stuck at the right size that we need it to be able to keep the border nicely around the image, which is actually really convenient. So we've got our images and we're ready to go. Basically what you do is you find the one that you want to upload, and you click on it from your desktop and then just drop it in or wherever you've got it saved. Now I'm not going to upload this again because it's already there, but I'll show you what to do. So you click on the image and just drag it over on top of the square, and you can see it automatically resizes it. It basically crops the image down so that it is a square and it fits nicely and keeps the outline of the shape there. Now, one other thing that we need to make sure that we do, and this didn't keep the filter, the images on the blog always have a filter on top of them, so I'm just going to go into one of the other blog post images and grab the filter code, which is actually really easy to do. So you just click on, let's see, one that actually has an image. This one here will be a good one because you see it's got a full image and it has kind of like that white over it. That's actually a filter. So if you click on filter in Canva, it gives you all of these notes or all these letters and numbers there. You can copy that and head over to the blog post and paste it in and hit return or enter, and then it's going to overlay that filter. Now that looks a little dark actually on top of this image, so I'm going to take the brightness down just a little bit so you can still see what's behind it, but it's definitely graying it out so you can see the text a little better. And then of course we'd want to replace this text with whatever this is here. So for this particular blog post, it's get cash for printer cartridges. So we're going to copy that and just paste it in here. And for the different titles, some of them may be longer, for example. You may have to move the text box around, like up or down. You can always kind of use Canva's guides to help kind of find where you've got the text to be centered, and the same, like centered horizontally and also vertically, just kind of depending on where you want to do it. But keep the text more left aligned because it creates a nicer feel and is in line with the rest of the images that we've got. But you may have to make some vertical adjustments. Just make sure that you do something that looks nice and will flow with the rest of the blog. And then, so this image is actually done. It's really super straightforward to put these things together. So you click on File and it saves. You can see up here it says all changes saved now. So you can download that. Now, since there's only one image within this blog post or within this group of images, there's only one here, but you can have multiple pages worth of images. So we don't have to download a specific page range, but typically there's anywhere from 3 to 5 images a week. So say, for example, we've got, I'll just keep building upon this one, and you click this button right here, it'll actually duplicate the first page, or the page that's right before it, rather. So when you click on it, it creates an exact copy of what's already there. And what's nice is you can get rid of the image that's there, and it should keep the filter. Let me put this in. And it did. It kept the filter the way that we wanted it. So that's actually comes in really handy and makes making these images really fast. So say I've got 3 different pages in here and I only want the first 2. I can actually select a page range and say I want pages 1 to 2 as opposed to getting everything. And it's important to note too that when you download these, I'll kind of demonstrate, it'll download as a zip file, so you'll have to unzip that since you're downloading more than one file at a time. It kind of puts it in a nice package for you. Or you could choose to download individually and download just page 1 if you were doing that. Instead of saying 1 to 2, you just say 1 to 1 for the pages that you're downloading, and then it'll download as a single file as opposed to a zip file. And then once you're set, you've got all of your images made there, then these are ready to use on the blog. Now, one important thing to note is for Evernote blog posts, we actually handle those a little bit differently. There's a specific template that we use. We use the same image every time. So the Evernote image typically has its own file within Canva, so you can get in there and you can see there's a whole bunch of Evernote images. And so basically what you'd want to do is just copy the one before and then replace this with each of the blog posts are titled How I Used Evernote To, so you don't ever have to change this text. But this text right here, it's actually a separate text block or text box. You would just update it with the rest of the title for the blog post. So this one is How I Used Evernote to Capture My Dad Speaking His Native Language, Estonian. The one might be, one example was one like how I used Evernote to keep track of my car insurance information or something like that. So you can just adjust it that way and then save your image, update everything in Canva here, download the particular file that you need, and then from there on it's the same process. So that's how you set up for Evernote and then regular blog posts. And then you'll take those over into Squarespace and use those on the individual blog posts as you're building them out.